Thank you, Honorable Mayor Butt, Vice Mayor Beckles, and Council members for your consideration of my application for the appointment of Richmond City Council member. I also want to put out a sincere thanks to the 12 other candidates for their willingness to step forward and to serve the city of Richmond. Also to those in attendance, both in support of my appointment and to those supporting their candidate. As the title of the book by Simon Sinek says, start with why. Why? I'd like to do the same. Why put myself up for public office? I don't hear that the pay is very good. So it's to be of service. I believe in living a life that matters, a life that makes a difference. I learned about being of service at a very young age, starting with that of being of service to my family. Having lost my father to suicide, I had to take on the mantle of caregiver. In college, I studied human communication, where eventually I served as a teacher in classes ranging from public speaking to intercultural communication. Then I went to the wonderful world of corporate sales, where I worked for 15 years. Please don't feel sorry for me. I worked with some of the world's most cutting-edge venture capital firms, where I helped venture-backed companies and the companies they were investing in, like Google, Skype, and LinkedIn. My focus was to be in service of my clients and the company I work for. 3 years before I left corporate America, I found that I was having a very difficult time at work. I wasn't happy, nor was I making the people that I was working with very happy. I then realized that in order for things to change, I had to change. I made the decision to begin to work with a business coach to develop tools to deal with what I perceived was being stuck on a treadmill. It was here that I learned to be of service to myself. This marked the turning point that would lead to my decision to do what I had longed to do, which was to start my own business and to increase my service to my community. I launched my business with Legal Shield, a mission-driven company in service of giving the legal justice system back to the citizens of the United States and Canada. As a result of being in service of myself, I began to read again, acquire new skills, see the world in different ways. Specifically, that we live in a world of incredible abundance, vitality, and creativity. I became inspired by new books, experiences, and people. I began to work and volunteer in the community, becoming the co-president of the Washington Elementary Dads Club. No, we didn't just hang out and drink beer. We organized several fundraisers for the PTA. I then began work as the president of the Point Richmond Business Association, where I took on the task of coordinating 22 farmers markets and becoming the chair of the Picnic in the Point fundraiser, which we just did this last Saturday. 7 years later, having raised over $80,000 on behalf of local nonprofits. The best part of this work was the feeling of self-worth and gratitude for the opportunity to learn how to be a servant leader. Now I have an 11-year-old daughter who I serve to teach her the lessons of being in service and giving back. Now in the last few years, as the president of the Point Richmond Neighborhood Council, I met and learned from community activists like Rodney Almo-Brown and Teresa Russell and Alex Beltran and Fatima Ali and Lily Mae Jones and Tuli Mayer and the community members who gave new life to Pogo Park and the many stories of Richmond. In my meetings with each of you over the last 2 weeks, I've had the sincere pleasure of getting to know each of you better. I see a group of people who have at your core the sense of service to community. So I thank you for your service to Richmond. So I see myself as a servant leader, to be a bridge, to be a connector for all parties concerned. As such, I am not here to serve a political agenda, but to do the work of the citizens of Richmond. Fundamentally, city governance is about delivering services. I believe, like many of you, that our city has great promise. I've witnessed it tonight. I will work to enhance economic vitality through sustainable economic development, increasing public safety, building all types of homes, not walls. Creating a strategic plan for housing development so that we can reduce the downward pressure on affordable housing supporting the dreams of dreamers. Considering the recent arrest of a young black woman seen on Facebook in need of mental health assistance at Kaiser, we must make it a top priority to find ways to provide mental health services here in Richmond. The nearest place for mental health services should not be Martinez. My upbringing, experiences, education, and work have led me to this moment where I believe I'm meant to be a servant leader to the people of Richmond. As the sign in the front of my house says, Black Lives Matter. Women's rights are human rights. Science is real. Love is love. Kindness is everything. So I'm curious. I'm curious to know if you guys are fired up. Are you fired up and ready to go? Because I'm fired up and ready to go. As much, I'm making tonight the first night of my official announcement that I'm running for City Council in 2018. So I look forward to working with you all to fulfill the promise of Richmond for our children and our grandchildren. We are greater together than we are apart. Thank you.
Well, Dave, we talked quite a bit, actually, probably longer than we should have talked.
I don't know what you're talking about, man.
Yeah, it was a long time. But so we've covered a lot of issues. I guess one thing I'd like to hear more about is your ideas about gentrification and displacement, because we talked a lot about planning. We've talked a lot about development, density, things like that together. But we haven't talked so much about the greater cultural impact of displacement and gentrification. I wanted to hear some ideas on that.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Councilmember Choi, and the time to discuss it too as well. This is a core issue, right? If we simply build and we do development, like some cities that we just talked about tonight, Oakland and San Francisco, for instance, you're after the ball, right? So you're not really caring for what I call a sustainable development program. Right now, what I see is development projects all over the place. I see economic development kind of coming. I see marijuana cultivators all over the place. But what I don't see is a cogent program that helps people stay where they are. The rent control is the first good step, right? So that we allow people to live and work in this city. But the state is about to strip that away, right? As I spoke with Councilmember Wills, who pointed out, the state's about to strip away this ability to put affordable housing in place. So we have a couple of prongs that we have to work with, right? Develop, bringing in business, keeping business here, and helping people be able to stay in this city and work in this city. Don't have to travel to a whole other city and work 2 or 3 jobs. I think we have people working below the poverty line. They're working not 1 job, but 2 and 3 jobs. So how do we help them stay here? Well, we create, first of all, it's intention. What is our intention? Is our intention to help people stay here, or is it just to simply develop and create business? So we have to be thoughtful. So it's thoughtful consciousness. Follow up?
No, that was great. What's your least favorite flavor of ice cream?
I think it's rum raisin. That's your favorite ice cream. But I think pistachio is pretty janky. Sorry for those pistachio lovers.
That's a good honest answer.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Councilmember Willis? You were trying to get this vote, right? You made fun of his name.
I was making fun, yes. I was making fun. Because I remember his flavor.
Yeah, well, you and I, we sat outside of Capitol Coffee having a 2-hour conversation on housing and just kind of our points of view. So I actually don't have any questions. Appreciate that you're here tonight, so thank you.
I appreciate that. Thank you, sir.
Commissioner?
Same question as the others. Like after running.
Flavor? What flavor ice cream?
Same question, right. No, you're a businessman, successful at it. So what is your view on corporate money, taking it? Would you take it for your campaign?
Yeah, this
coming from outside of Richmond. So I'm for Richmond voters, so I want money, if they're going to vote, if they're going to support me, to come from the residents of Richmond, not from somebody outside of the area, right? So I would go that far. I would also go so far as to back, campaign finance, right? So funded by the people, right? And a shorter period of time, right? We don't need 2 years. We don't need a year to run for office. And we don't. So let's be conscious of this and get the money out. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Councilor Martinez?
It seems like the rest of us, like the rest of the council, you've had extensive conversations with us, and then our conversation started the last election.
Yes, sir.
And they've all been quite entertaining and enlightening conversations. I heard you say that you have no political agenda, and that's good. But you cannot deny that you do not have a philosophical agenda.
Right.
So
I cannot deny you are correct.
okay, so my question to you is what is your philosophical agenda?
So I'm a Democrat, and
That's political.
that's political, right?
Yes, so I was asking philosophical.
It's philosophical. It's about being a human being. It's about being in service of others, as I was talking about in the presentation. It's about seeing each other as human beings first. And it's about listening. Like, I can't hear in my right ear, so I have to work very hard to listen. And it's not about my words, it's about yours. So how do I best understand where you're coming from? And take the time versus respect. It's about trust. So philosophically, I believe so very deeply in the person, the human being, to do one little step in the right direction. Like doing something positive. People get so wrapped around the horn that they have to do something massive when they can take one little itty-bitty step. And that makes the world a better place. So, philosophically speaking, I believe that we can transform ourselves. We have the capability of doing that. That's the optimism that I hold. So I appreciate the chance to answer that, give you that feedback. Yes, I do have political beliefs, but at the core of it, I wanted to strip it down just to the ground level, right? That really what I'm here to do is to serve. So appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilor Martin?
I think you answered the question on your philosophy with the sign you said was outside of your house, from Black Lives Matter to Science is Real, and et cetera, et cetera. So I appreciate that. But this is my question for you, Mr. Ice Cream Man. What are your views on cookie dough?
I love it. Cookie dough is very good. Very tasty. There will be a cookie dough. And this should also try out some rum raisin too sometime. It's really good for your mouth.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you all. A vote for me is a vote for ice cream.
I'm lactose intolerant.
You know, or whatever you like to eat.
Sure.
But sincerely, thank you for your time, your consideration, your service, and it was an incredible evening. I knew it would be. I should have been outside the door with ice cream and some popcorn selling outside. Really, this is my home. It's my daughter's home. Our family lives here. We chose to be here, and we couldn't have landed in a better place on the planet. Richmond is on the move. We are fired up